Don't have it. I know. One more time, we'll call the board meeting of the St. Joseph County Library Monday, June 24th at 4:45 p.m. Determine a quorum. I will call the roll. Alan.
Here.
Ann.
Here.
Nicole.
Here.
Let's see. I just talked to her. Christine.
Here.
Christine. I got to go. And
Very.
Ruth and Terry.
Yeah.
Here.
Really loved him.
Okay, we're all here. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve it.
I have a second.
Second.
We move second to approve the consent agenda.
No, no.
Oh, okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Director's report.
First, could we add an item to the
Yes.
agenda?
What's that? Okay, this is
Contract with MKM
under new business or
under new business.
number, we'll add letter E to the agenda for the contract with
MKM,
MKM.
need a motion to add it.
Do I have a motion to add agenda?
Move to add.
I got
Agenda
it.
item.
It's been done. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Opposed?
opposed? I was gonna oppose.
No.
Okay. So, all right,
Director.
your support.
All right. So I do want to celebrate, and George may or may not join us next month. His last day is in August, I believe. George Bailey is retiring after 15 years with the library. He's our ever faithful driver. But I did include those two resignation letters for you. Sometimes you do just see the terminations, which just all look the same, and termination never sounds good, but I thought you would appreciate the sort of lovely notes we get from people when they resign the library. Summer Reading Club kickoff, huge success. Over 800 people signed up at that event. We're still ahead of where we were last year with signups. We have over 5,000 people registered for summer reading. Jenny might have updates, I don't know, in her report.
Wow.
We're working through two different and new audits since the last board meeting. One is the workers' comp audit, which Kara and Anjanette are working on. And then we got notification that we'll have an audit of our 2019 series bond, which is not a common thing. I think bond counsels, Phil Facenda said he's done 4 in his career. So we're just the lucky ones. It's a random selection. But because it is a little more complicated than the typical audit, and because all of that happened before Anjanette and I were here, we have engaged bond counsel to assist us with that audit, which Alan told me earlier this afternoon was a good idea.
So what are the audit? It's just a regular audit of.
Yep, yep. Where'd you get the money? What'd you spend it on? At the bottom.
I was here for that.
Yep, exactly. Plans for the renovation at Center continue to progress. We're hoping to put that project out to bid in September, with work beginning in tentatively towards the end of the year. Francis, we did have to close early one day because the cooling went out. It is limping along. So we are, Joe feels like it can limp along. We are just glad that we did order that new unit because it is months to receive it, and we're hoping to install that in September. So we're trying not to put any more money than we have to in that unit than we absolutely have to. I will be participating in the committee to look at the legal definition of library services. 2 of my priorities in that look at the legal language would be to add the importance of a library collection representing all points of view in defense of the First Amendment. And then also to include programming in the definition of library services. Our first meeting's in July. I don't, two other legislative concerns that have come to me in the last few weeks. One is, Project 2025. I don't know if you're familiar with this plan to transition the government should President Trump get reelected. On page 5 of that plan. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I ain't reading the whole thing because it's 900 pages long. But I did read the first few pages, which are like the basic outline of what the plan is. On page 5, it says, and I'm not gonna read the whole paragraph. Pornography manifested today in the omnipresent propagation of transgender ideology and sexualization of children has no claim to First Amendment protection. Its purveyors are child predators and misogynistic exploiters of women. The people who produce and distribute it should be imprisoned. Educators and public librarians who purvey it should be classed as registered sex offenders. So we know that some of the language that we heard in our book challenges last summer, it concerns me very much that this is on page 5 of the transition plan. So you all should just be aware of that language.
This is Trump's transition.
It's a transition plan written by the Heritage Foundation and a number of other groups for yeah. So there, if you Google Project 2025, there's becoming more and more information out about the plan. But the fact that public librarians, they're suggesting we should be registered sex offenders is extremely offensive.
Yeah.
And I think does a disservice to those people who are actually victims of sex abuse. So in related news, you probably already realized that Micah Beckwith received the nomination of the Republican Party to run as Lieutenant Governor with Mike Braun. Micah Beckwith was on the board of Hamilton East Public Library when they wrote that collection development plan, which said any books for teens and kids that included things like writing, repeated profanity, sex, kidnapping, drug and alcohol use should not be available to kids or teenagers. He is the only one on that board that did not vote to rescind that policy when John Green made it national news because The Fault in Our Stars was moved out of the YA collection. So he has been nominated to be Lieutenant Governor under Mike Braun. So that's obviously very concerning for those of us in libraries, given his history on the library board. And that's my report. I'm sorry, it's not great news. But I think it's important that people know these things and how public libraries are being talked about on both the national and the state political stage.
Okay. Have a motion to accept Stephanie's report.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept Stephanie's report as executive director. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Thank you very much. Now for the good news. Jenny,
So,
I like these numbers.
yeah, everything is going pretty well.
Jenny, for the sake of the people on Zoom, could you speak up, please?
Yes. A few things I'd like, so again, the front pages usually are highlighted, fun things that we have going on. It has some summer reading numbers, although we have far blown past those numbers, and I think I would not be surprised if by the end of the week we had surpassed the total number of registrations that we got last year. So
That is very good news.
So they have been, you said 800 have already signed up for someone?
800 signed up the night of the kickoff party. We have over 5,000 people who signed up.
And I just want to say, I hope all board members have signed up for the
Yes.
summer reading program, not, not naming any names, but I'm sure that you do. You get a free book.
Free books. And actually, speaking of books, the total number of books read so far is 13,000. So that's bonkers in a good way. So a few, yeah, and we just started, like, we're not even a month in yet, 13,000 books read by kids and adults. A few other highlights is, so our active card holdership, and these are people who have actually checked out a book or used their library card in some way. It does not represent the total use of the library, because there's a lot of ways to use the library that don't require a library card. But we have about 1,000 more active card holders this year than we did last year. So I think that's a nice indication of how much our community uses the library. Meeting room reservations are up across the board. Pretty much every location has had higher meeting room use, and our study room use has been up between 2 and 13%. This year. So every month it's been a little bit higher. And I think that's interesting given, as we embark on these projects, knowing, how people are using the space and what we can think about for use at the other branches. Also, I'm just gonna mention, because circulation is down, but it's following our trend. And the increase in digital circulation is making up for physical circulation. So I think we're just kind of in that zone of, people are, and also with summer, I think more people use digital materials as, they edge out of the school year and get into, might be a flop there, but that's what we got.
That's it.
That's it.
What's the data irregularity? I see several items there. What happened?
We are not entirely sure, and we're working with the vendor that we use for computer minutes. But so the platform for computer minutes, just both I and Jesse, who is on our IT team, cannot figure out why the numbers are so clearly wrong. There's just no possible way that those are correct.
It's a great choice of words, data. It's kind of like water landing, you hear that when you wonder.
Yes, it's a little, sometimes it's a little wibbly wobbly with the other options.
And just for those of you who are familiar with kids' books, our youth services manager published some of the most popular books that are being checked out this summer. Some of them are just, classics are just classics, right? Polar Bear, what do you do? Or what do you hear? Holes is the #1 spot for 6 to 11-year-olds. The Maidens is #1 for 12 to 18-year-olds, but the Lincoln Highway is #3, Bridge to Terabithia is #4. And the adult, The Footsteps of the Savior by Max Lucado is #1. And The Graham Effect by Al Kennedy is #2 spot. So it's just an interesting mix of classic and new, and a wide variety of books being read. Chicka Chicka Boom Boom is still on the list too.
Jeanette?
All right, so the fund report and the appropriations report are there. If there are any specific questions about those, feel free to ask. Just overall, we are still doing really great, compared to our appropriations budget. We're about 10% below our projected budget, which means we can move some things around and do those extra things that we need to do, if needed, where we start moving into renovation projects and those types of things. We did have a small increase in our utility electricity, and that's because we swapped out, well, we didn't swap out, the electric company swapped out the meter at Lakeville, and we saw a huge spike, and found out that it always was the same amount, which was the wrong amount. And so for Lakeville, it's very small, it's a small branch, so it's not like, if that happened here and we had $100 bill and it went up 81%, because that's exactly what it did at Lakeville. So we were able to investigate that, figure out what it was. I'm not sure if everyone's aware that even in our homes, they're doing these new energy efficient or electric efficient meters, and a lot of people are getting their meters switched out So when they switched out the meter, we found out that it was never tracking correctly. So, luckily it didn't, it went up, it's just a small increase though. Overall from the temperatures. But no other abnormalities. Tut is, I don't have the numbers for Tut today, but, it's continuing to go down. Overall for the solar panels. So Trust Indiana is holding steady. I have not heard anything additional about, rates, changing dramatically. So right now we are, moving at the same trajectory at about a 5.35% yield, month over month. So, we did get our draw, in June. So I will be moving dollars over there, from a cash flow perspective to just continue to, be able to make gains and interest on those dollars. We did get the final contract for the insurance, and, it was, under the amount approved, so it was 178,028. So, the board voted on that, and we made sure that it had stayed under, so it was under about 6,000 from, what that statement showed. As Stephanie said, the component unit audit should be wrapping up soon. We anticipate having that every year. They definitely asked different questions this year, more geared toward payroll, a lot, and some other questions. So we'll see where that comes out, but it wasn't as hairy as last year, I don't think.
I would just, probably a dumb question, but why so many audits? I mean,
Well,
we put the money, but I mean.
Well, the workers' comp one is actually, that's every year.
Okay.
They just usually just ask for documentation, give us back the numbers, and it is what it is. The component unit audit, as we talked about last year, was the first year we had it. Our understanding is the county goes through component unit audit every year, so we will be subject to the audit as far as we know every year.
That was a law change a couple of years ago where they required counties that over a certain population size who have these units that they occasionally have fiscal authority over. So, we have to take our bonds to them so that they have some level of fiscal authority. Us, Mishawaka Library and the airport are all now considered, Mishawaka Public Library, all considered component units now. So that will be an annual audit for us. The first year, the auditors didn't really understand the library stuff because it's different, but it's been an easier process this year, but we'll just have that audit a single year from now on.
So we're talking about beautiful audits a year, different things.
No, the IRS audit, hopefully never again.
Okay, never mind.
So, yeah, so the bond audit, they call it examination, that was new and definitely out of the blue. And having the bond attorneys to help us walk through it. I've been through a lot of audits, but this one is completely different. And as Stephanie said, we were not here, so we're looking through someone else's work. And for me, just a different concept that I'm still kind of learning. So we're just going to help lean on them a tad bit.
Okay.
And so I'm not concerned. I'm really concerned about the other audits. But we don't have to have the information until August 5th. So we got, an extension on that.
Okay.
And other than that, that's all I have.
Any questions for Angela or for, any? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the patron engagement report. So moved. Moving second, that we accept both patron engagement and retention report. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, ladies. Any unfinished business? I think so. All right, new business. Personnel policy. That, Kara, okay.
So in your packet, you should have a copy of the updated handbook. I also linked the current handbook for your reference. Everything I'm proposing has been looked over by Myra. So we don't have a ton of large changes this year, just a few bigger ones. It came to my attention via Stephanie that it was very unusual for a library to do pre-employment drug screening. since I didn't start off in libraries, I was unaware of that fact. And the library was already doing it, so I didn't question it. And after talking to other Indiana library directors and going through, the library council and talking to their other HR professionals from all over the country, no one does them, none of the other libraries do them, including Brooklyn Public Library responded to me, their HR person, they're like, no. All of them, for the most part, do for cause test, drug screening, or, have the right to test after an injury. And because of the fact that since I've been here, we haven't had a single positive test for anything other than marijuana, which is legal less than 3 miles from our northernmost branch. We just thought, why are we spending our money on this? So removing that policy would save us about $2,500 a year. And of course, we would test if there was any cause for concern. So that was the first change. The next one is pay differentials during leave. This was a policy that payroll was never even doing anyway, so let's get rid of it. We don't pay the pay differential on certain paid time off, but only some of them. So it didn't make a lot of sense. It's just administratively impractical. And we're doing it anyway, so get rid of it. The remote work policy, there were a few changes in there. Just some things that we've realized after having a few years of this, of what's practical, what is feasible from a management and administrative standpoint, as well as what makes sense for eligibility. So one thing that we found is that some people think that they should just be able to work remotely immediately. We kind of think, no, you should be here a little bit first. You got to learn the job. So we added a 60-day requirement of at least being employed for 60 days. And then we also took away some little things that we just weren't really doing much of anyway, just because it was too cumbersome administratively. And we combined some of our agreements and stuff to make it all one instead of doing it the way that we were doing it. And then holidays. So historically speaking, we remained open on Martin Luther King Day and Veterans Day. It had always been our belief that if we had the ability to stay open when schools were closed, we wanted to do that to make sure we had a place for children to go during the day when there wasn't any school. But once we started looking at our door counts and also looking at what other libraries in the state do, we found that not only were we giving fewer holidays than everybody else, all of the other libraries, but our door counts were way down on those days. And so we thought, if we can give those days to our staff, it would show our staff that we really want to honor, especially our Black staff and our veteran staff, that we want to honor them on those days. So that was the next one. I'll pause for any questions thus far.
So you're providing holiday pay and they would be working that day anyway and be paid anyway. Is holiday pay a higher rate?
No, we
We
would
would be closed. I'm proposing.
No, I understand that. I'm just talking, is the cost a wash?
They would be working that day and now we'll be closed and we'll be paying them for that day. So it is a wash. They would be
The
paid
same amount.
The same.
Same amount.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, holiday pay is their same regular amount.
Yeah.
Yes,
I have a couple of questions.
I knew you would,
Good.
Jerry.
No,
I was
I'm
just waiting.
on your side. I'm always on HR's side because they saved my butt so many times. In regard to the drug testing, I assume you've, asked all the questions regarding liability and so on, and you're not in in the industrial environment, you had people getting on a fork truck, you know, an hour into the job, and you really couldn't take the risk, but.
Right.
Uh,
We did consult, not only did we consult Myra, but we also consulted with our liability insurance to make sure that this policy wouldn't affect
right,
our coverage in any way. And they just said, oh yeah, that's fine, don't worry about it.
well, I'm supportive, and for one reason that you did not list is that statistically, I do not believe any test is 100% right. And I'm still haunted to this day about a few people, and I wonder if I threw them out of work for a bad test, you know? But you couldn't cave once you had the rule.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was bad. Secondly, how many people do we have working from home or remotely?
I could get Stephanie the number specifically, but it's pretty limited. So, the remote work policy hasn't changed and, I mean, overall, over the last few years. But the public service staff who are regularly working the desk, if they apply and are approved, they can't work more than 4 hours remotely per week. And that's only for certified staff. So these are people with bachelor's degrees and some library science degrees, or library science courses, and they've spend half of their time off the desk anyway, working on different programs or
Story time
or whatever. And then the max that anyone could do is 2 days a week. And that, I mean, that would include all of us. It's,
but none of us are.
none of us do it.
But like the designer for communications would typically work 2 days a week, just doing graphic
And
design.
it has proven to be a nice recruitment tool. We were so thrilled that we had this policy created in 2019, right before.
Good time. There is a trend nationwide to reduce work from home because there's a ton of reasons, but I was just, when I first saw it, gee, we have 50 people that never come to work, and
Oh,
that's
no,
not
no,
the
no.
case.
No. And I think that there is a trend to reduce the hours. And what I've actually seen is that most places are reducing it to a max of 2 days a week. So we're pretty on track with that.
Good answers, thank you.
Yeah, all right. And then, staff day, so every year you actually just approved it for this year. We asked the board for approval to, close all of the locations for staff development day, which is basically like a little conference for our staff. Stephanie had the brilliant idea, why don't we put that in the handbook and then we never have to ask for it again? I was like, that's so smart. I don't know why we never thought of that. So we added that.
Alan has a question about that.
Oh, sorry, yes.
My only question there was, you put it in the handbook that it would be the last.
Thursday of September every year.
Do you, I mean, by doing that, that means that you'd have to come back for, I mean, I'm just, I'm wondering if you want to.
We toyed with different days in the past, and found that Thursday really is the best day, mostly because the vast majority of public service staff alternate Fridays and Saturdays.
I was just wondering if you want to put some loose language in there, or such other date.
If,
that
yeah.
The executive director determines, whatever.
We're fine with this. We're not gonna
You're
move
okay
it.
with that, that's fine.
It would have to be something really weird if we want to.
Yeah.
yeah, because it's not like we don't close for weather in September, it would be a rare. Yeah, and it's really nice to book all the rooms at the beginning of the year, to block them off, so patrons can take them. Or snack. So the vacation time payout is the next one, so right now, this is another good recruitment tool, is our amount of vacation time that we have, and so right now, an employee can accrue an entire year and then roll over the entire year to the next year. So at the end of that next year, they could have essentially 2 whole years worth of vacation time in their bucket. and then they could quit and get paid out for all of that. So, we would like to limit that payout amount to the maximum of 1 year's of accruals.
Yeah, good idea.
So that is that. Educational assistance policy, the only change here that we would like to make is to update it to match what you all approved for the eligibility for health insurance. So going from 20 hours to 30 hours to get that max educational benefit. Or to get the part-time educational benefit. And then the last two things, so there was a group of people who were grandfathered under the PERF payout amount. We pay employees when they retire under PERF a certain dollar amount, and this was added as a way to give folks who are in our lower pay brackets a little more money than what the rest of the section states. But there is nobody here that qualifies for this anymore, so it is no longer relevant. So we want to take that out. And then the last one disappeared and nobody knows why. Someone asked me about it this year about the retiree status library card. I could not find it in any board packet for approval to remove it. So I think it must have just been deleted in error. So I just want to add that back in.
A fine-free library card, but aren't fines?
Yes,
That's probably why it's
what
on.
the biggest thing about it is not the fine free part about it. It's the fact that they could live out of service area, the service area, and still have a card. So if you've worked here for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, but you live in Mishawaka, you don't have to pay for your library card. It's a nominal benefit, but it means a lot to people.
So maybe instead of fine-free, it should say fee-free.
Fee free. It's an easy change to make. I just was like, oh, this was deleted, copy paste, put it back. So, yeah, I can update that to fee.
Is that it?
That's it.
You need our approval.
I will, propose that we approve with the one word change, the policy, and it's very funky, but so moved.
Second.
To move in second that we approve
Whatever you said.
the additional policies, as presented, personnel policy, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. Ayes have it, done.
Thank you.
Purpose policy.
So we're trying to get in a rhythm of just reviewing all of our policies every year. Jeanette and I looked at this one, we proposed some changes, just need another approval on it.
No changes.
No change.
Okay.
It's really just a restatement of the statute regarding purchases.
Have a motion. So we'll have a second. Move a second that we approve the purchasing policy. All in favor? Aye.
I,
Any opposed? Say aye. Ayes have it. Let's see, collection development.
Easiest motion.
Collective development policy comes from. Oh, who paid it?
Good afternoon.
Karen's at a family wedding, so.
Okay,
So, we'd like to recommend that the board approve the following updates to our collection development policy. We made some small changes clarifying the language in section 4.2. Adding section 4.8 outline the policy for collection displays. That way, any books that staff pull to highlight certain areas. And also made our reconsideration of library materials policy more robust with some language updates.
I found very small, typo. So, under 4.9, second paragraph, third sentence, it says, a form must be completed in title or, and then it starts a new sentence, forms may be submitted by mail, with a capital F, so either it's a period there.
Vote for yourself.
full point.
That's just capitalized and it should be capitalized.
Yeah.
Well,
For the sentence, for each child or form based.
Well, it says a form must be completed for each title, or
Oh.
those aren't different things.
Just the period and forms will be submitted, yep,
And get rid of.
noted, fixed. Thank you.
Good contribution.
We appreciate you.
Anything else?
Any other questions?
I do have a question. I can't find that. Something about overlapping displays.
Oh, and, part of our collection displays,
Yeah.
that sometimes at the branches, when displays are made, because there's smaller spaces, you could see a display for, like, say, the adult collection might be within view of the children's collection. And so this is just bolstering our policy overall, saying, yes, it's geared towards adults, but kids may be there, but it's still.
What number is that? I'm really lost.
4.8,
Four.
the last sentence.
4.8. Items on display will cover a variety of themes and topics of interest to the community, and their purpose is to recognize current trends, community, national or events, cultural and services. Displays appear to have a library and space limitations at some locations may cause overlap between different areas of the collection.
That might be, I just wonder about making that a little clearer. I mean, it's clear to you, but I don't know if it's clear to somebody who is, protesting something. And look at that.
That this isn't clear.
What isn't clear?
That sentence
Displays.
about, I mean, it wasn't clear to me, let's put it that way.
This is-
Says display.
Displays appear throughout the library, and space limitations at some locations may cause overlap between different areas of the collection. That was not clear to me at all. What does that mean? So I'm just thinking it could be.
There's a lot of issues.
Work on wordsmithing.
Folks this summer, because they claimed it was. the work was
Right.
in the-
I know,
And that is-
no, I'm saying, I'm not questioning saying that, I'm just, if I were a patron and reading that, I would know what you're talking about. Maybe it doesn't, it's just a thought.
Yeah.
We'll relook at it. The phrasing.
So I'm just trying to catch up here. This is a 4.0 collection development policy. And
Yes,
so, what was changed, added? I mean, I don't know what I'm changing.
okay, and we're just making some language changes to bolster, so 4.2,
Most of the policy is the same.
Yeah.
So 4.2 is. What did you add?
it's now stating the obligation to reflect differing viewpoints on controversial subjects. Items that may be controversial or offensive to some users may be selected if they contribute to the range of viewpoints and lived experiences.
So that's new.
Yep.
Okay,
Yes,
so just in the future, Stephanie, it would help to have that highlighted.
That is in the memo that goes with the policy.
Okay, not finding that.
Sorry.
I apologize.
Nope, that's okay.
There are 99 pages.
It's the handbook. So that,
Very
the
complete.
really substantial change is the addition on the displays.
Okay,
Everything else is really small, but we didn't have that on the displays. And because we do get complaints when certain topics are displayed, we thought it would be assistance to our frontline staff to include that we do displays, and they will be on a variety of topics.
got it. I just found the memo.
Yeah.
Page 93.
Got it.
we've had a number of articles that I've been reading about different challenges from across the country, and these are some of the phrases that everybody's starting to use to solidify their policies.
Oh, this wording?
Yes,
So then the idea would be, because this is in the handbook.
This is a public policy manual.
Different book.
Is that posted somewhere?
It's on our website. And does anybody read all of our policies? and the public, maybe an occasional person will read the policies, but it's helpful for staff to know that it's there, so when they get those complaints, they can say there's a policy behind it. Or for customer service manager or Rana, when the complaints get to them, to point out the policies. But they are all on our website. And usually, historically, the entire policy manual has come once a year, and we're breaking it up so that we're bringing smaller portions of the policy for your review instead of doing the whole thing all at once.
Any more questions? Comments? Have a motion? I have a move, I have a second.
Second,
So the move is second that we approve the collection development policy. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Resolution to transfer between fund lines. I think that is,
That's me.
that's you.
Yeah, and we will not be signing this on January 24th. I just
That's what I
realized
said.
it's in here.
Thank you very much.
But yeah, so, I'm trying to get it to twice a year. That there are sometimes that we have some fund lines that are, little closer than I want in the budget. So just making sure that those, moving some of those lines that have a little more, capacity and moving those dollars to, another, fund line, and especially year two, doing things like travel and all those types of things, not sure exactly where we're gonna spend, but knowing that now we have a little more capacity, being able to just move those dollars there. So we have, really four transfers, and you'll see those, you just need approval for that.
Any questions about that? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Terry? Is that aye? Oh. I thought you shaking your head.
He was shaking his head.
He was
no,
shaking his head.
after-
I was reading when you were talking.
Oh, sorry. Do I have a motion to approve?
so move.
Second? It's been moved and second that we approve the resolution to transfer funds. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Transfer with pleasure. The other business. Any visitors? Everybody's home room. News and education items? Okay, I have one, and Jenny and I have been working on this, so. I am pleased to announce that we have proposed a new agency within the city called the South Bend Arts and Humanities Council. Jenny and I and about 6 others who were on this proposal, it's a $3.3 million proposal. It's under the city council for funding. It will enhance the city in lots of ways. And one of the ways is it will give each district $150,000 to create a public art project in their district. There's money for schools, money for humanities, and we will be the only city in Indiana that will have a humanities council. There's none else in the city. So Jenny started this project on my new job last year, and we worked on this, and so went to the city council last Thursday. And if they approve it, then it'll be a new entity starting under VPA starting in January. So we'll be talking about it more and more. There's money for public art, everything surrounding public art. Everything you do has to be public art. So parks, libraries. The humanities part is the biggest part, I think, because that's something we've never had. So you can do scholars, you can do speakers, all that kind of stuff can now be funded through this entity. There'll be a 13-member council, and the biggest, and it will fund all the festivals in town, which is $1.7 million by itself. So we've been working on this in secret. Now it's out in public, so.
What's the title of it?
The South Bend Arts and Humanities Council.
Is it an agency? Is it a separate?
It'll be a part of Venues Arts and Parks.
Oh, so part of the city.
Yeah, so city dollars. So it's separate from the community foundation. It's an investment thing. This is strictly city money going to fund city projects. And so we're hoping that they'll pass it. And I'll have a new job.
Another new job?
I'm a staff, yes. So, there'll be three positions of this. One will be a director, one will be a grants manager, one will be, administrative assistant. Part of it too is, and I talked to Stephanie about this, that we proposed $175,000 to put a digital signage around the city of all the events that happen.
Oh, nice.
So at the airport, libraries, wherever, you'll see what's going on in the city. And that'll run, that's a huge, it's that's a lot of money, but it'll be a way for people not to say, I didn't know. So, so with the city council, with the budget process already, so we'll see where it goes.
What's your sense? So that this would need to come out of current city budget?
Yeah, there's some money from, other sources that's available. So my boss thinks it will make South Bend, RC Randy's capital of Georgia.
But we were part of the art.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
know it.
But now I don't know it, so that's what I've been working on the last 8 months, I guess, maybe.
For longer than that.
Longer than that. Well, I've been in the job a year, so, but it's a 22-page proposal, and it's really, there are a lot of statistics in it, that I think will give us credibility to reduce. I will send it to you, I'll send it to you. You just send it to the board. This, could you, yeah, I'll send it because it's on my phone. Yeah. It's out there now, I've been hearing about it, from people, so. But it's a new thing, so I may need some help for leverage with some of our council members. But I think we're gonna do all right with this. People are geared up. South is at a place right now where there's money coming in, the Microsoft and the Amazon. You gotta make a city. And this is gonna help that, so, I'm proud of it. Vinny was a big help. Was the library, the symphony, Southhold, Civic Theater, and, Lisa at the art museum. And who else was it? And Will from downtown South Bend. Y'all were doing it together. And Jordan Gavis, we're working over, so it's on the way. I'll keep you posted. All right, any other business? If not, I will call a motion to adjourn. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Nobody should oppose that, so happy summer, and see you guys, July 22nd. Right here. You guys see this, please don't see it.
Honey?
Okay.